$6 billion. That is the revenue generated by a single piece of entertainment. But this global empire wasn't built in a sleek Silicon Valley boardroom. No, it was built by a group of Scottish computer nerds, guys who were previously famous for a puzzle game about suicidal rodents. How exactly did a broken prototype and a literal glitch in the code accidentally spawn the most profitable media product in human history?
Welcome back to Learning with Pratik. If you're new here, I try to increase neuroplasticity by exploring a new topic every day. I do all the reading and researching so you don't have to. In today's explainer, we are going to dive into a truly staggering contradiction. We're looking at how a deeply cynical satire of American culture originated in the rainy industrial town of Dundee, Scotland, and how a few very fortunate accidents completely changed digital media forever.
Section 1. The Accidental Scottish Empire.
Our story begins far, far away from the sun-drenched, palm tree-lined streets of Los Santos. We're starting inside a small, crowded studio called DMA Design. Founded back in 1988, DMA hit it big with a game you might remember called Lemmings. Flush with cash from selling 20 million copies, the studio started experimenting. By 1995, they were working on this messy, unpromising little side bet. It was a top-down racing prototype they called Race and Chase. Now, the initial design of Race and Chase forced players to pick a side. You were either the cops or you were the robbers. But early playtests revealed a rather glaring issue. Playing as the police was just incredibly tedious. Obeying red lights and traffic laws brought the pacing to a screeching halt. The developers realized a fundamental truth about their digital sandbox. It was only actually fun when you broke the rules. So they completely pivoted, tweaking the game to let players exclusively control the robbers. But even with that pivot, the prototype was still missing something. It lacked tension. That is, until a legendary coding glitch changed everything. A simple routing error caused the AI police cars to become completely unstable and hyper-aggressive. Instead of pulling you over, they relentlessly hunted the player down, violently ramming them off the road. But instead of fixing this broken code, DMA Design actually leaned into it. They turned this psychotic AI behavior into the core foundation for the franchise's now signature wanted level.
Section 2. Manufacturing Global Controversy.
Knowing they suddenly held a genuinely chaotic, highly controversial product in their hands, the game's publisher made a deliberate, calculated choice to weaponize it. They hired the infamous British PR guru Max Clifford, a man who operated on one simple philosophy: all publicity is good publicity. Clifford intentionally tipped off the tabloids right before launch, and the politicians took the bait, hook, line, and sinker. They publicly denounced the game as vile filth, which ironically functioned as the ultimate, high-profile marketing campaign for rebellious teenagers everywhere.
Section 3. The Open World Revolution.
As we move into the late 1990s, corporate consolidation led to the formation of a brand new label you might have heard of, Rockstar Games. And with it came a fundamental shift in software engineering. When Grand Theft Auto 3 dropped in 2001, it effectively killed linear game design overnight. The series abandoned its flat 2D arcade roots for Liberty City. This was a seamless, fully 3D, physics-driven metropolis. It offered this unprecedented level of player agency that made all those strictly scripted, level-based games feel immediately obsolete.
But to actually achieve this on the severely limited hardware of the PlayStation 2, the developers had to engineer a brilliant technical workaround. It's called dynamic environment streaming. So instead of attempting the impossible task of loading the entire city into memory all at once, the game's engine continually loaded and unloaded digital assets in real time, strictly keeping it to the player's immediate vicinity. It was an absolute technical revelation, and it literally became the bedrock for all modern open-world game design.
Section 4. Music, Culture, and Vibe.
But technological breakthroughs were really only half the equation here. Rockstar understood that a digital city needed a soul. Following the incredibly rushed 9-month development of Vice City, the team demanded 2 full years to build their next opus, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and its scale remains staggering even today. They layered deep role-playing elements into the mix, things like managing your character's weight and skills, right alongside an impeccably curated, licensed 90s hip-hop soundtrack. Those in-game radio stations didn't just play music, they actively breathed life into the simulation.
Section 5. The Hot Coffee Scandal.
Just as the franchise reached unprecedented heights of pop culture dominance, it collided head-on with its most damaging controversy yet. Rockstar had built, and wisely cut, a rather crude sex minigame from San Andreas to avoid getting hit with a restrictive age rating. But here's the kicker. They left the dormant code on the retail disk. In 2005, a Dutch modder uncovered and unlocked what became known as the hot coffee mod. The ESRB instantly re-rated the multi-million-dollar game to adults only, forcing a massive, incredibly costly global retail recall overnight.
The resulting backlash was severe, to say the least. It reignited a fierce, nationwide debate on video game regulation and violence. The scandal drew the relentless ire of attorney Jack Thompson, who heavily campaigned to have the developers disbarred, and it even prompted Senator Hillary Clinton to push for strict federal legislation. The studio was ultimately forced into settling class action lawsuits and had to testify before the Federal Trade Commission.
Section 6. Billions and tax subsidies.
Yet, despite all that intense political scrutiny and endless legal battling, the franchise just kept evolving into an absolutely untouchable financial juggernaut. And it came with the rather brilliant twist of corporate irony. Following the release of Grand Theft Auto V, Rockstar North actually claimed £42 million in UK video game tax relief. To qualify for this, the game was officially certified as culturally British by the British Film Institute. Yes, a sprawling, deeply cynical satire of Los Angeles, featuring exactly 0 British main characters, legally shielded the studio from massive corporate taxes. And well, the results of that investment truly speak for themselves. Today, Grand Theft Auto V alone has sold over 200 million copies. Let that number sink in. It stands as a staggering monument to iterative design. A franchise that began as a buggy, top-down racing prototype made by puzzle game developers in a rainy Scottish industrial town, somehow managed to capture and commodify the American zeitgeist better than almost any other piece of media in the 21st century.
The accidental empire that Rockstar built proves that sometimes the greatest innovations come from knowing exactly what to do when your code breaks. Will another video game ever capture the cultural zeitgeist quite like this? Let me know your thoughts on the comments below, especially if you have something particular in mind. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow, we open a different page. Until then, Pratik, out.